Hi there, Sanjay Gangal from EDACafe. I'm here with Sailesh Kumar, CEO of Baya Systems. Hello, Sailesh.
Hey Sanjay, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Sailesh. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us about Baya Systems.
Yeah, we are a tech startup in Silicon Valley. We started in 2023, I think second quarter of early April. We are building, today we are building IPs to accelerate data movement. And when we started, our vision was to solve the data movement problem that the current AI architectures are facing. So with that vision, we started the company, and it's about 7 quarters since then. And so far, it has been exciting, right? We raised our Series A, then Series B. We have built an amazing team. We have shipped our products to customers, but the journey has started. I think we have a long way to go.
Okay, and you mentioned that the industry's biggest challenge has shifted from compute engines to data movement and connectivity. Can you elaborate on how Baya's technology addresses this challenge?
Yeah, exactly. So historically, the compute was CPU centric. As historically, most of the compute was done on either Intel x86 CPUs or ARM CPUs. More recently, AI has transformed the entire compute stack, and you can see that in NVIDIA stock price as well. Now I think neural engines have taken over. The LLMs and machine learning. That's the new wave of compute that's taking off, and apparently CPU is not the right architecture to perform that function most efficiently. So as a result of that, there are new architectures coming up. There are a lot of custom architectures that a lot of startups are building. But today, the most dominant architecture is GPU-based architecture, primarily from NVIDIA. But there are a lot of other startups and medium-sized companies who are also building, highly accelerated AI functions. In this new architecture paradigm, it's a highly parallel architecture where there are thousands and thousands of threads that operate in parallel. And they all need to coordinate and move data between themselves and also from memory into the threads. And the amount of capacity, compute capacity that you can provide is directly proportional to the scale of the system. That's why scale up and scale out architectures are sort of the foundation of scaling the AI compute. And when you scale these types of compute architectures, what you will realize is that the bottleneck is really the data movement between all the entities, including the compute, I/O, and memory. And today, there is almost, I will say, unprecedented need of scaling that system because AI is barely taking off. To get to literally human level intelligence, we have to significantly increase the amount of compute, amount of scale. And as we get on that path, data movement, based on today's architecture, data movement is the central problem. As many execs today say that today's AI compute is all about solving the data movement problem. Compute problem is fairly standard and well known. So that's the observation that we had 2 years ago, and that's when we started the company. And our focus is to help our partners build the best possible systems by solving that central problem.
Okay. Now, the chiplet approach is gaining traction in the semiconductor industry, and Baya supports emerging standards like UALink. How do you see UALink evolving?
Yeah, so UALink is a scale up. We're just talking about scale up and scale out. So UALink is an emerging scale up standard. Today, if you look at data center, all the scaling happens either over proprietary protocols like NVLink, which NVIDIA uses, or historically Intel used to have their own protocols like UPI for scale up, or it's happening over standard Ethernet or InfiniBand, which is mostly around scale out. Because it's largely built on proprietary standards, a new standard has come up, which is somewhat open. UALink came from AMD and partners like Google. And UALink basically tries to build an ecosystem to enable scale up using load store semantics. So everyone can build systems using open ecosystem and scale the overall architecture. So I think UALink has become very attractive for many system designers, many chip designers, because it allows them to be able to scale the system, to be able to build high performance, highly scale up systems. So that's the UALink standard. You brought up chiplet as well. So chiplet is another way to scale the capacity that you can build on a piece of silicon. So, chiplets has become a way to build a large, silicon system while maintaining high yield for each chip, and linearly scale the capacity by just adding more chiplets to the system. In terms of integration, 2.5D, even 3D, people are considering 3D stacking and all of those. So that gives you another dimension of scaling. So chiplets is definitely an accelerator, and AI is the right sort of application to use chiplet to gain the scaling. So these are the trends that we see today. So our product is basically built around enabling these types of trend and riding these trends as well. So for example, chiplet interface standard is UCIe. So our data movement solution is built on standard protocols like UALink, AMBA. But when it comes to chiplet connectivity, it supports UCIe so that we can scale our solution across multiple fabrics. So we are basically built on all these open standards like UALink, UCIe, and ARM AMBA protocols.
Okay, and now Baya takes a software-driven approach to system IP with solutions like WeaverPro and WeaverIP. How does this differ from conventional system design methods?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. So we also see a trend in the industry, where there are a lot of players who are trying to build highly custom application-specific architectures. So different applications require different types of compute and different ratios of different types of compute. If you look at all the compute today, we have CPU compute, which is most general purpose. Then we have GPU, which is really geared more towards parallel applications. And then we have custom accelerators as well, a variety of custom accelerators. Then we have DSPs. So we see a clear trend where, because the volume also justifies it, everyone is trying to build highly custom solutions for a given application. And when you build these custom applications, custom solutions, you need to mix and match different types of compute, different types of memory, different types of caching, and different types of I/O based on the demands by the application. And that leads to a wide variety of architecture. We are no longer in the era of having just one type of architecture like Intel compute architecture and every application built around that. So we are really in a truly heterogeneous compute world today. So if you operate in this world, and if you want to provide a data movement solution that can adapt to any solution where the amount of compute, different types of compute is different, the amount of I/O, amount of caching is different for different applications, then you have to build a highly flexible solution. And once you build this highly flexible solution, you have to make sure that you give a user interface so that users can use this solution and use all the knobs and flexibility in a very simple and abstracted way. So that's where the software comes in play. So we have built a highly flexible, programmable solution at the hardware level, but we don't want to expose all the knobs, all the actual microarchitecture level controls to the user, because that will be impossible to use. So that's why we created a very sophisticated software abstraction layer where user can describe the requirements at a very high level. They can describe that, oh, I'm building this system of 16 chiplets. I have so many compute, these types of compute. I have so much memory. I want to build so much caching. And I want to have these types of traffic in terms of bandwidth, in terms of latency, quality of service. You describe the requirement at that abstraction level, and then our software will guide you and translate those requirements into actual microarchitecture level knobs and will create the right solution for you. And sometimes your requirement will not be practical. So it's an iterative process where we also help you refine the requirements. So you give the requirements, you also give constraints in terms of cost, in terms of amount of chiplet bandwidth that you can provide. And in that sort of bounding box, we try to build the best solution. So that's why we have the software stack. And I believe that as we start to build more sophisticated, complicated solutions, the value of software is going to grow, because Not only that, it allows you to manage the complexity of the hardware, it also allows you to be able to build correct by construction hardware because you don't want any bugs in the system. So in our software stack, we have formal methods built in to make sure that whatever decision we make, it's correct by construction. So it really, brings both efficiency as well as correctness to the system.
That's pretty impressive. Now, with the recent 36 million plus Series B funding, what are the key areas of investment for Baya?
Yeah, we raised Series A, and since then we have been building our product. We have already been shipping to multiple customers. Last quarter was technically profitable based on bookings. So you can argue that we did not need money, but then we realized that there's a big opportunity globally. As I said that, practically everyone is trying to build high performance, highly custom solutions, and they all need an efficient data movement solution. So this is the right time, this is the right opportunity, and we need to scale to provide our solution, to provide the support, to do all the customizations for every types of every market segment. We need to take our IP and business model to the next level. So that's why we decided to raise money, and Maverick Silicon, which is focused on silicon investment, and Synopsys, which is number one IP company and CAD company in the world. We found those two to be ideal partners. So it's more of I look at it more as a partnership. Plus, the investment is going to allow us to scale our global operations as well as engineering. So we will use it to first scale our global operations and second to augment our engineering.
Okay. You've secured a strategic investment from Synopsys, as you mentioned, and also Intel Capital, and also your partners like Tenstorrent, who have already licensed the technology. So how do these partnerships help drive adoption, and what can we expect in terms of future collaborations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So IP ecosystem thrives on common standards, common methodologies. So partnership plays a very important role over there. And also, when you look at fast-growing companies like Tenstorrent, they do many products. They do CPU products, AI products, systems. So whenever we see such opportunities of companies who are hungry, fast-moving, building many products, we try to have a closer relationship. So we not only can cater to all of their data movement requirements across all the products, but also learn from them, understand from them about the requirements, and then make them part of our roadmap. So that's why we have Synopsys partnership as well, because they have their eyes everywhere. They understand the whole segment. Practically everyone uses Synopsys IP and CAD. So we are basically creating all the partnerships that will help us in refining the IPs, our IP, take it to next level, and also broaden the funnel in terms of actual bookings. So that's one set of customers, and then obviously the standard customers who are building SoCs, we will go all out and look for those customers as well. But right now we are focused. Because our commercial team is still somewhat limited. We are focused on getting the right set of customers who will be a longer term, better strategic partner. But again, with this investment, we are rapidly growing our commercial operations, and we are all out to look for more business.
Okay, and what is the best way for our audience to find out more about Baya Systems on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, we have a website. So definitely go to our website, bayasystems.com. We also have, I think, we're pretty active on LinkedIn as well as Twitter. So feel free to follow us over there as well. And in general, I think we are actively participating in the industry events. We will be at DAC. There was a Chiplet Summit 2 weeks ago. We were there. The Synopsys hosts a lot of events. We are always there. So yeah, I mean, we are there in the events, and obviously we have digital presence as well. And feel free to shoot an email as well. We are all of our commercial folks are very active out there.
Okay, so tell me about the name Baya. What does that mean?
Yeah, so our name is inspired by a bird. So Baya is actually a bird. It's a weaver bird, which weaves very, I won't say complex, but more very sophisticated and beautiful nests. It has very complex, and very beautiful structure, and it's beautiful actually. So we also realize that in these heterogeneous complex systems, if you look at the data movement, if you look at the traffic, and if you draw it out on a whiteboard, it will actually look like a beautiful nest.
Hmm.
So our platform basically understands that and weaves that system in hardware. So that was the motivation behind the name. And WeaverPro is the name because our software basically weaves a fabric, and fabric is really bunch of traffic flows abstracted and implemented in bunch of gates and flops. So that's the motivation behind company name and product name.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, Sailesh, what do you do for fun outside work, or what is your personal passion?
Yeah, okay. So you asked a different question. I don't think much about it these days. So I used to work at Intel before that. Intel, I think, was good work-life balance, to be honest. Before that, I was at NetSpeed, and again, that was startup. Intel was good. We had a lot of fun at Intel, both at work as well as here. I think, in terms of fun, I don't think too much about it, but I think weekends are good. We don't work a lot over the weekends, which is a great thing. And so we do shut down over the weekend. And I personally, like to hike, so we definitely do at least 1 or 2 hikes every week. We also bike once in a while, but I need to fix that aspect of my life, by the way. I need to spend more time out of work.
Okay. And what has been your favorite hiking destination?
Yeah, the standard destinations like Rancho, and those are always game. But I like to go to Half Moon Bay and take a
Okay.
hike along the ocean trail or coastal trail.
That's very pretty. Yeah, Sailesh, can you also share something about yourself that most people at Baya Systems who work with you don't know about you?
Okay, you're asking all difficult questions. So I think I come from a very humble background, which is I think which keeps me grounded. To be honest, the place I come from, I remember, in those days, it was like, if a boy is born, then the family was already preparing to make him an engineer, and if a girl is born, then she'll be a doctor. Uh, so yeah, it was a very sort of humble background with focus on studies and all of that. So I think that created a good foundation. Ended up at IIT Kanpur, did double E. Before I went to IIT Kanpur, I don't think I knew much about chip design or engineering. The goal was to get to IIT, and I went there. And since then, I started to understand how industry works. And because I was in double E, I ended up in chip design company, and that's how the career started. But a few things, I think the way, maybe I can talk a little bit about a company culture.
Hmm.
I think we have built an amazing culture here. It's true radical transparency. Except personal information and comp related information, we leave everything on the table. What is our sales funnel? What is the revenue from each customer? How evals are going? Everything is on the table. And that, I think, creates a lot of trust in the company. And that's why, all these people have joined us. They saw the trust and passion and transparency. And also, as it is, as I think it's a complementary part of, transparency and trust is, we have a highly meritocracy kind of environment where, we really don't care too much about titles and years of experience. We just make sure that everyone, who is capable of doing a function, gets to do that function. And I tell everyone that, if you are a better CEO of this company, I will take your job and you will take my job. So that's how we operate. But again, these things are things that everyone already knows about. Um, there are many things that obviously people don't know, but maybe I'll think more about it, and then I'll have a better answer.
Okay, maybe the next interview. So let me ask you completely tangential, different question. Cats or dogs?
We have a beautiful dog. We
Yeah.
have a 45-pound Labradoodle. His name is Oreo. So yeah, I mean, he is also a COVID dog. We got him during COVID days, but he has become a part of our family.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Love to see a picture of your dog. Uh, well, well, thank you so much, Sailesh, for taking time to record this interview. Have a great day and stay safe.
You too, Sanjay. Great talking to you.
Okay, this is Sanjay Gangal from EDACafe.